Krishna, greetings everyone in this wonderful month of Kartik. So today I'd like to read from the beautiful book by Srila Narayana Maharaj, The Pinnacle of Devotion. Here it is. This is the Damodara Lila. At 2.5 years old, beautiful Sri Krishna would wander here and there naked. While the Brajvasis were going about their daily activities, and while at social functions, Krishna would steal butter from various homes with other little boys. The Brajvasis would therefore complain to Yashodamaya that Krishna and his friends were very naughty. Why did they complain to Yashoda? The activities of Krishna were so pleasing that all the gopis wanted him to come daily to their houses and play there. In that way they could relish his pastimes. Seeing that Yashoda was not able to enjoy these particular boyhood sports, they wanted to give her the opportunity to experience them by complaining to her about them. "Oh Yashoda," they would say, in effect, "your boy is so beautiful. How sweet are his movements and how sweetly he plays. You should try to see all this." When Sri Krishna would deny their accusations, the gopis would ask him questions like, "Oh, why does your mouth have yogurt and butter around it? Why?" Krishna would then answer, "A monkey came and wanted to take butter from my hand, but I would not give it to him. I was actually guarding your house, so I tried to drive the monkey away. But he was so naughty that he smeared my face with butter. But why are your hands full of butter? Oh, you don't know? My mother has given me a very valuable gold and pearl bracelet, which became so warm that I felt a burning sensation. So I put my hand in the butter pot to cool it down. I have not taken your butter." Once a gopi who was hiding in her room saw Sri Krishna stealing her butter. While his hands were still in the pot, she caught hold of him and said, "What are you doing? Are you stealing butter?" "No, mother." "Then what are you doing?" "Oh, my calf has fallen into this pot. I am searching for him." "Oh, where is your calf?" "A calf cannot fall down in this little vessel." "I will show you," Krishna said, and then pulled out his hands, which were now holding a marble calf. "My father has given me this toy. I was playing with him, and he fell down in the butter pot." Sometimes the gopis complained to Yashodamaya, "Krishna is so naughty. By his stealing butter and yogurt from our houses, and doing so many other mischievous acts, he will surely have a questionable character in the future. You should try to control him." One morning while Krishna was sleeping, Yashodamaya was churning curd. She was very beautiful. Otherwise, how could Krishna have been so beautiful? When Krishna woke up, he thought, "Where is my mother?" And he began to cry. While she churned, Yashodamaya was absorbed in chanting, "Govinda Damodara Madhaveti, Govinda Damodara Madhaveti." Her voice was very sweet, and the sound of her rhythmic churning was like the playing of a mridanga. Dikka, diktan. It was as though that sound was singing. Dik, fie on those who do not serve Krishna. Fie on them, fie on them. Yashodamaya was so absorbed in churning that although Krishna was crying, "Mother, mother," she could not hear him. Crying more and more loudly, he therefore climbed out of bed. As he rubbed his eyes, the kajal on them ran down his cheeks, and it was as though the Ganga and Yamuna rivers were falling from his eyes. Quite naked and with a peacock feather in his hair, he ran to Yashodamaya, but she still could not hear him. Finally, grabbing her churning rod with one hand and her veil with the other, he stopped her churning. "Who is this?" she thought. "Oh, Kanaya." Taking him on her lap, she stroked and caressed him with much love and affection. Tears poured from her eyes and milk flowed from her breast. Sri Krishna was hungry and he sucked with much intensity. While feeding Krishna, Yashodamaya noticed that the milk on the stove was boiling over. She thought, "This milk wants to serve Krishna, but Krishna is taking my milk." It is important to understand that Shri Rakshai Vishnu's ocean of milk has come from the breasts of Yashodamaya. Wherever there is milk, it has ultimately come from her, and her milk ocean is endless and deep. The entire universe is situated in Krishna's mouth, and all the worlds are situated in his stomach. Even if there were millions of oceans of milk, and if he were to drink them, they would all finally become empty. On the other hand, Yashoda Mai's milk supply was so endless that hundreds or millions of Krishnas could not ever exhaust that supply. In the meantime, the milk on the stove was thinking that it had no chance to serve Krishna. What is the use of my life? The milk considered, I should give it up. Srila Narottam Das Thakur also says in his prayers, without serving Krishna I am so unfortunate, and in this life I have not served him. I am always absorbed in useless worldly activities to collect possessions, but I am not happy. Although my material goals are like poison, I give up the nectar of bhakti, Krishna prema, in pursuance of them. I should die. Why do I remain alive? Why am I maintaining my life? We should also think like this. If I am not serving and not doing proper sadhana bhajan, then what is the use of this life? The human body is endowed with a greater capacity than animals who take into spiritual life. Although I have higher intelligence and an opportunity for good association, I neglect it and take poison. So why should I not die? Lord Brahma has made my heart harder than stone, and it is only for this reason that I do not die. Before going to bed each night, we should consider our spiritual development. Has my faith increased today? Has my knowledge and service to Sri Krishna increased? We do this in business when we close our shop or office in the evening. We calculate our gains and losses. Similarly, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada used to say that every night we should calculate whether our bhakti has increased or whether it is the same or whether it has decreased. He said we should do this daily. If our association is good, then our bhakti will increase, and if not, it will decrease. If we have taken asatsanga, worldly association, then we'll have a taste for sense enjoyment. If we have taken satsanga, good association, on the same level as ourselves, and vishayi sangha, association of sense enjoyers, as well, then our service will be external, and we will also have some taste for material enjoyment. Suppose we took initiation 12 years ago, or 24 years ago. Now it is essential for us to calculate the growth of our service to Krishna. Is our sadhana bhajan the same as when we first joined? Has it diminished or has it developed? If we have not made much progress from the time of joining the mission, if we have a taste for sense enjoyment, and if we are simultaneously taking asatsanga along with satsanga, this is the result of some offense. We can know then that our bhakti is decreasing. When we first came to our Guru Dev, we were so enthusiastic. Similarly, with good association, we will maintain our enthusiasm. If we do not have enthusiasm, it is due to bad association, offenses, and anarthas, and an attempt must be made to correct the situation. A boy cannot remain in the same class for 20 years. If he does so, it means that he is not really in class. He is not studying, but rather playing soccer or cricket or other games and taking bad association. He has not actually been in school. We need to calculate our progress, otherwise we cannot improve. While the milk was thinking in its humble way, Yashoda Maya considered, I must try to save this milk. She immediately started to put Krishna down, but he tightly caught hold of her with his hands and feet like monkeys do, and he firmly held onto her breast with his mouth. He cried out, I am still hungry. Where are you going? He held onto her with all his strength, but Yashoda Maya gave him a loving slap and, removing him from her lap, sat him down beside her. Putana had the strength of 10,000 elephants, and she used all of that strength to try to remove Krishna from her breast, but she could not do so. In a moment, however, with one push, Yashoda made him sit down. Although he is the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the presence of Yashoda's love and affection, he became controlled. Though angry, he sat there by her side. Why did Yashoda push Krishna away? Did she love the milk more than Krishna? Was she acting against bhakti? No, she did not love the milk more than she loved Krishna. In fact, this Damodara Lila actually illustrates the meaning of bhakti. Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma janavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhakti uttama, from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 111. Try to remember this verse. Bhakti means activity performed for the pleasure of Sri Krishna. But here we see that Krishna became angry and later broke the yogurt vessel. Were Yashodamai's actions bhakti or not? Yes, they were. Why? Because she was thinking, my milk is not sufficient to serve him. Krishna also likes milk in the form of butter, yogurt, curd, and so on. She acted for the well-being of Krishna, and whether he cried or not did not affect her. Because her action was for Krishna's welfare, it was bhakti. The two wrestlers of Kamsa, Chanura and Mushtik, were giving pleasure to Shri Krishna and the mellow taste of chivalry, because Krishna loves to wrestle. But their wrestling with him was not bhakti, because they wanted to kill him. Their mood and intention were unfavorable, not favorable, for his pleasure. Yet, even when Yashodamaya pulled Krishna's ears to chastise him, her action was bhakti. Excuse me. Krishna may have cried and wept, but her action was bhakti, because it was done with a motive to please him. Sprinkling water on the milk until the boiling subsided, Yashodamaya thought, oh, I will give you to Krishna. I will engage you in Krishna's service. Gurudev is like Yashodamaya, giving all devotees help and a chance to serve Krishna. He even gives up his own service for this. What does this mean? Guru is always remembering Krishna's pastimes and serving them. Being an Uttama Bhagavat, he resides in Goloka Vrindavan. He gives this up and comes down to the stage of Madhyam Adhikari to help the devotees. Some devotees are Kanishta and some are Madhyam. Generally, they are Kanishta. Guru comes down to tell them, you should not do this, you should do this. And he sings the kirtan, Samsaradav, Analalida Loka, Emana Durmati, and Amara Jivan kirtans, because he is always giving his mercy. Gurudev is like a mother. Being angry at Yashodamaya, Shri Krishna took a rolling pin and cracked a hole at the bottom of the butter pot. Why the bottom? He first tried to tip it over, but he could not do so because he was a little boy. He was able to lift Govardhan upon his finger, but he could not shake that pot. He tried to make a hole on the upper side, but the pot was too thick there. Then, aware that the bottom of the pot was thinner, he made a hole at the bottom so that all the butter would fall out. He then distributed that butter to the monkeys. When Yashodamaya understood that Krishna had stolen the butter and was distributing it, she tried to catch hold of him. Great karmis, gyanis, and yogis cannot touch the lotus feet of Krishna by the power of their mind. Jarasandha and Kalyavan could neither follow nor catch him. Even the four Kumara brothers, Sanak, Sanandan, Sanatan, and Sanat Kumar, cannot touch Krishna by the power of their minds. But Yashoda, a gopi, and a little heavy set, ran faster than Krishna. Then, after catching him, she said, I will teach you a lesson. No, no, mother, don't do so, don't do so. And Krishna began to weep. Then why did you break the pot? I have never broken the pot. Who broke it? You yourself. How? You were running so fast that your ankle bells hit the bottom of the pot and it broke. You could not see this because you were in a hurry, but I saw. Oh, you are a very big liar and a very naughty thief. She used the word Chora, which is thief in the Sanskrit language, and it is also the name of Yashoda's ancestor. Mother, I am not a thief. In my dynasty, the dynasty of Nanda Baba, there were never any thieves, although there may be many thieves, Choras, in your dynasty. Yashodamaya began to tie Krishna's waist with some rope, but she could not wrap the rope around him, not even once. She tried another rope. She tied another rope to the first rope, and then another, until the rope was more than 1 mile long. But still, it was always the width of 2 fingers too short to go around him even one time. The gopis began to laugh and clap. Yashodamaya was very embarrassed because, even though Krishna was born from her womb, she could not bind him. Her face reddened and tears danced in her eyes. At the same time, she prayed to Lord Narayan, "O Narayan, please save me from this disgrace. Why should I not be able to tie my child? Please help me." Aware that his mother was praying like this, Krishna finally allowed her to bind him. Why was Yashoda Maya not able to bind him at first? What is the significance of the two fingers? One finger represents Yashoda's own effort, and this means that Krishna cannot be controlled by our efforts in sadhana and bhajan alone. We cannot even see him, or to speak of control him. The second finger represents Krishna's mercy. Krishna's mercy is everywhere, but the correct process is required to receive it. These are the two means of success. One, Krishna's mercy, and two, our sadhana bhajan. An example is given of the cat and the monkey. Kittens need only to weep, meow meow, and their mothers will come and take them in their mouths and carry them here and there. The baby monkey, on the other hand, does all the work, while the mother does nothing. If the mother wants to go somewhere, she simply looks at her child, who will come running and tightly catch hold of her. She will then jump from one tree to another, or from one house to another. She will not hold on to the baby. If her baby falls, she will give him up forever, never again taking that child with her. Sri Krishna may not appear to us despite our practice of sadhana bhajan, nor will he appear if we are not doing any sadhana, despite the availability of his mercy. Both are needed, our hard endeavor and Krishna's mercy. If Krishna's mercy is there, yet we are not doing proper sadhana and bhajan, we will not be successful. If both are there, only then can we see Krishna. We want to weep for Guru's mercy, the Uttama Adhikari's mercy, and for Krishna's mercy, for by doing so, we show that we are trying our best to receive it. If we follow these two methods properly and sincerely, we will receive their mercy, and we will be able to control Krishna as Yashoda Maya did. Sri Krishna thought, if Yashoda Maya binds me, then I can't go out and play with my friends. Sridham, Sudam, Vasudam, Stoka Krishna, Labanga, and Arjuna are all waiting for me. All the cows were also waiting for Krishna, thinking, when will Krishna come? Only he can take our milk, no one else. The calves were present, but the cows would not give them their milk. Pushing their calves away, they waited for Krishna to come and milk them. With their udders full of milk, they cried, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna thought, how can I let this happen? The cows will not give milk, and if they are not milked, they will die. I must go to them. All the calves will also die if I don't go there. And the gopis like Radhika, Lalita, and Vishaka, then only 2 years old, are waiting for me to play with them. If my mother binds me, I won't be able to play with them all. Immediately Yogamaya came. Although the rope was growing longer and Krishna's waist was only 12 fingers wide, he could not be bound. Sri Krishna is powerful, full of hundreds and thousands of various potencies. But of all these potencies, Krishna Kripa Shakti, his mercy energy, is the most prominent. Therefore, when he saw that his mother, who had been working so hard to bind him, was about to weep, and when he saw her reddish face and her embarrassment before the elderly gopis who were clapping their hands and laughing, his Kripa Shakti manifested. His heart melted, and Yashoda Maya easily bound him with a soft rope used for binding her hair. After this, she tied him to a grinding mortar. Sri Krishna was weeping, and his tears, blackened by kajal, was running down his cheeks, rubbing his eyes and taking very long breaths. He looked so beautiful. He was weeping, but so sweetly. His face, his naked body, and his fearful mood were so sweet. Anyone who sees this scene will experience its sweetness. Namam Vishwaram Sachetanandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Brajamanam Yashoda Biyolukala Param Rishtamatam Tato Drutyagopya. Satyavrata Muni prays, oh, may that very form of Krishna, with his eyes full of tears and taking long, long breaths, come into my heart. This is Damodara Lila. His movements are so sweet. When he looks crookedly at someone, his eyes are so sweet. His pastimes are sweet. His mother is sweet. His gopis are sweet. and his Braj is sweet. Everything about him is sweet. Jai Damodara.